Hello and welcome to part 2 of routing trains in Run 8. We are at CP East Barstow. I realized in the first video that I forgot to point out all Union Pacific trains that come up the Cajon Pass and not the Palmdale Cutoff will automatically be routed east and into Yermo Yard. If you could see the symbol here, I've got West Colton to YR for Yermo. The sim will route him up into the yard. So you can see right here, I started him here at CP East Barstow, and you can see that OTTO has him routed up, crossing all the way over and into Yermo right here. And when the train arrives at Yermo, if OTTO routes him into the Union Pacific main line, as you can see he's coming in right now, then he's going to go straight through and off the map, which is generally what you want for just AI trains that are just crossing the map. But if you want him to actually come into the yard and stop, then you're going to want to make sure that you throw a switch against him up here. As you can see here, this is the end of the Yermo yard, and those tracks just stop in the distance. So this train will just continue on and disappear and be deleted off the map. And if you don't want that, just make sure that you put a switch like this switch right here. If I flip this switch, for example, now when he gets to here, he's going to say there's a switch thrown against him, and he'll stop right here. And now we can see here that he's coming to a complete stop because I threw this switch, and he won't go off the map. But if we want him to go off the map, all I got to do is flip the switch. And now he's going to continue off and then disappear at the end of the track. So if you want to route a Union Pacific train into Yermo Yard, just make sure that the last two letters in the symbol are YR, and it's formatted in the UP style with no dashes. Now we're here at control point baseline on the Cajon sub, heading towards the BNSF San Bernardino yard, and I've got this stack train, container train as an example, and I've got it tagged Z-BAR-SBD. And as long as you have SBD as the last three letters, you're going to go into, OTTO can route you into the San Bernardino yard. The San Bernardino yard is similar to Bakersfield and Calwa yard, like in the last video I showed, where you have to manually flip the switches in the yard. He's not going to route them down and automatically down an open lane like at Barstow or West Colton. Those are the only two major yards where OTTO will send him down the open lane. So he's going to be coming in at 7th Street here. If we look on the dispatch screen, you can see here's our train here at baseline coming across, and OTTO has him routed in the green here up into the A yard. And then here is where you can stop him if you want, or you can flip these switches ahead of time so that he goes down an open track. But if you don't want to do it ahead of time and you just want to figure out where to send him once he arrives, then you would want to align the yard entrance switches like I have here. So you'll see he's going to come all the way down, cross over, and then go straight here. And then when he gets here, the AI will stop him because this switch is not aligned properly. So he'll stop at the entrance, and then you can come over and route him wherever you want, if you want to do it that way. So it looks like he's actually going to come to a stop before the first switch, which is perfect. Usually the AI, if a switch is thrown against them, they won't get within maybe 30 yards, 20 yards of that switch. They don't like go right up to it and stop. So this is perfect. So by having the switches aligned like I showed you, You can get the train to stop right before that switch, and then you would get a notification that, you know, the train has a switch thrown against it. If you look on your dispatch screen, you'll see that it's red lined into the San Bernardino yard. See how you got the red line there? And you'd say, oh, he's arrived. I got to go align the switches. And then you come over here and you can flip this switch and send him on his way, or do whatever you want to do, wherever you want him, whatever lane you want him to go down. Now we're at control point Rana and heading east towards San Bernardino yard, and I've got the last 3 digits again, SBD. And you can see on the dispatch screen that OTTO is routing us into the auto yard down here from main 2. We're going to see what happens if I start him on main 1, if he'll cross him over into the auto yard or route him up into the B yard. I'm not sure. I've never done it before, so we're going to find out here together. You can see the switches lined up for us to go into the auto yard. You might be asking, well, what about yards like Mojave or Victorville? Can we route into those yards? If I don't mention it in the video, that means OTTO cannot route into that yard, and it has to be done completely manually. There's no symbol you can give it to have him go into that yard. So I'm only discussing the different train yards that you can route a train into. Okay, now I'm doing the same test but from main 1, and we'll see where OTTO will send him. And it's the same, into the auto yard. So if you're coming from the west side of the San Bernardino yard, whether you're on main 1 or main 2, like let's say you were coming from Hobart or Long Beach or San Diego, if you're on either track main 1 or main 2, if your symbol ends in SBD, you'll be routed into the auto yard. And from there you can manually switch them over to get to the other yard if you want, or either of the 2 yards. I think there's 2 or maybe it's actually 3 in San Bernardino. But that's good news. I've never tried this one before, so I didn't realize that that was possible to get him in from this side. I knew you could from 7th Street, but I didn't know you could from this side. We're now down here in Los Angeles, and I have the train tagged ending in LAJ, and we're going to route him into the Los Angeles J yard. If you look on the dispatch screen, you can see that we're at Eastern Avenue control point here at the top, just past Commerce, and we're routed all the way across to main 3, and we're going to be sent down here to control point Riddle, and from there you have to manually flip the switches and route them through to the A yard or B yard or the C yard, Los Angeles, LAJ, A, B, and C. So you have to choose between one of those 3 and manually route it. So OTTO will send a train to that yard. It gets a bit technical in this area because there's a lot of industries and there's a lot of yards, and you got Union Pacific yards mixed in with BNSF yards. So there's a lot going on. In order to get your train to go into the LAJ yard, you'll see right here, BNSF to LAJ. This is in the train symbol routing XML file for the San Bernardino sub. And here it says LAJ only, and we've got the tag LAJ right there. You need to have that if you want OTTO to route him into this LAJ yard at CP Riddle like we're doing right now. If that's not there, it's not going to work. He's not going to send him in. You can see that the Los Angeles San Bernardino subdivision in Run 8 is pretty cool. There's a whole lot going on. It must have taken forever to build this. It looks like my plan didn't work because he just went through that switch. He is going to come to a stop, but if we wanted him to go to LAJ A yard, which would be down this track, now we would have to back up. But I do have a solution for that, so check this out. Anytime you want to get an AI train to stop somewhere and not continue on, an easier way than using the switches is to just drop in a Ford. Just throw a maintenance away vehicle in there on the track that you don't want him to continue on. So you can see here we've got, I put this one back to straight, so he's going to see that truck there and he's going to stop. Usually 30 yards, maybe 50 yards. I guess it just depends. So I just AI recrewed this train again. I moved him back a little bit, and you can see that I placed that Ford high rail maintenance away vehicle in the distance there. So this AI train's stopping here. He's not going to go through anymore. So if you know you're sending a train to LAJ, just throw a Ford pickup truck on the tracks, and then it'll stop your train. Then all you would do, when you see that your train has arrived, you'd come over here. All you got to do is click on the pickup, hit delete at the top right, and now make sure your switches are aligned, and that train's going to start moving again, as long as the switches allow it to. So right now we're lined straight ahead here, and he's going to go straight up here to the LAJ A yard, which is this switch. Also, you'd have to throw this one, and then he'd come through here. And here's the A yard right here. And then the B is in the distance there. And C is like way over here. Now we're up here on Main 1 at Hobart Yard. Not in the yard, but at CP Hobart. And I've got the train tagged BAR ending in MAL for Malabar Yard. And if you look here on the San Bernardino train symbol routings, we got Harbor Sub only, and then MAL is in here, so it'll work. You got to make sure you have MAL in this section here for the Harbor Sub if you want to get into Malabar Yard. So OTTO just gave him a signal, and let's see where he's routing him, if it's working. So we're up at the top here, and we should see him cross over here. And he's going to have to cross over again. Oh, no, actually, he needs to be either on Main 1 or Main 2. And then if I change the screen here, he's going to be coming down. He needs to be on Main 2. And then he needs to go here to CP Harbor Junction, and we want him to go this way. So if OTTO does it correctly, he should be coming into Main 2. Whoops. And he's doing it right. So you can see right here at the top, he's crossed him over on the Main 2 there, and he's going to send him straight there. And here's the Malabar Yard. This is where the train will end up. And you got to manually flip the switches and route them into the lane that you want. But that's it for Malabar. So we're on the San Bernardino sub still, and we're near Commerce right here. But I'm trying to get the train into BNSF Hobart Yard. And for whatever reason, I can't figure this one out. If you look here in the train symbol routings under BNSF to Hobart Yard, at Hobart only, and the destination symbol is LAC. And you'll see here I have the train tagged ZBAR LAC. I'll do an AI recrew. And he should get routed into Hobart Yard. But for whatever reason, it doesn't work and he gets sent straight past. And you can clearly see right here at the top, this is us here. And we have just been sent straight on past Hobart Yard. But he should be going in either here or I think here. One of these should be switched over and then that would send him into the yard. So this one confuses me. If any of you guys know why this doesn't work or if you found a solution, let me know, because it's in the train symbol routings as LAC. It actually has the Hobart Yard noted in there, but whether I try it from the east or west, it just goes right past. The last train yard that we're going to look at here is West Colton. This one is simple. This is like Barstow. Obviously, if you put WC at the end of any Union Pacific train symbol, whether you're coming from downtown Los Angeles or you're coming down the Palmdale Cutoff from Mojave and Fresno, it's going to be routed into this yard automatically, into an open lane automatically by OTTO, as long as you got WC as the last two letters. And you can even send a BNSF train here as well from Barstow. Let's say you want to go down the Cajon Pass with a BNSF train. You can do that, and I'll show you right here how. You'll notice here in the train symbol routings for the BNSF Cajon sub, you've got inbound to West Colton departure, and then BNSF transfer job here in parentheses. And then the tag you need is WCL. So this should route the train from BNSF tracks into the West Colton departure yard. So let's give it a shot. We're here at control point baseline on the Cajon sub, and we're heading towards the San Bernardino yard is just up ahead on the right. But I've got this train tagged with the final three letters WCL in the BNSF formatting, and we're going to see if OTTO will take him into the West Colton departure yard. Coming past the San Bernardino Amtrak station, and the San Bernardino yard is on the right. And there we go, perfect. Look at that. He's got us routed. We're going down Main 2. We're going to switch up to Main 1 at CP Rana, and then we are going to come down up here on the right, the Colton Crossing BNSF connector. You can see here it's already green, and this should send us into the West Colton departure yard. And there's the final route, all the way into the the departure yard. So that's pretty cool. I've never done this one before either. You can see the Colton Crossing up ahead and the tower there. It looks like you definitely have to pay attention to this one, because once he gets into the departure yard, OTTO is not going to choose an empty track. So you have to manually pick what track to send him down. And that concludes today's video. Let me know if you got any questions in the comments, and if there's anything that you think that I missed, any important yards that in the SoCal region at least, that I did not cover. or like Hobart Yard, if you figured out how to route into LAC. I read somewhere in one of the forums that somebody he said he figured it out, but I've never seen how to do it. So let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching if you made it all the way to the end, and stay tuned for more.